Hello everyone, welcome. Today we're going to be making this wrap crop top, and before I get into the making of this top, I'd like to say thank you to my subscribers. Guys, I'm very grateful for the support that I'm getting from you people. If you are viewing this for the first time, do subscribe. Let's get straight into making it. So this is my back piece, and I'm just going down by 1 inch for the neck depth, 10 inches for my bust, and 18 inches for my waist, which will be my full length, and the bottom part will be my hemming. So this is my waistline, this is my bust line, and the width of my neck will be 3.5, of which I'm going to join this neckline like this. Then my shoulder is 8 inches. From there we'll come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. Then for my armhole depth, I'm going to use 8 inches plus 0.5 is, since it will have a sleeve. Then this will be my chest line, which we can label here chest line. Then my bust is 40 divided by 4, which is 10 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance, which I'll put on the bust line, and I'll also extend to the chest line like this. Then at the bottom part, this back piece, I'm not putting any dart, so I'll just put my 8.5 plus 1 inch sewing allowance for the waist and just join those points like that. Then you can go ahead and curve the back armhole. Then as you cut, fold the hemming so that you do not fall out of fabric. At the shoulder line, I'm going to leave an allowance of 0.5 inch for the joining of the shoulders, like that. So this is our back piece. We're done with the back. We can now go to the front piece. So for the front piece, I've placed my back on a folded part of the front piece, and I'm extending the waistline to this part of the fabric. So whatever you measure it this side, then go up by 2 inches like that. Then from this neckline, I'm coming down by 6 inches. If I was coming from the shoulder line, I would have come down by 7 inches, but I'll come down by 6 inches since the 1 inch has already been taken out. So we mark the 6 inches over there. So we can now join from this point to this point using my hip curve ruler like that. Then we can go ahead and join this to the neck like that. So even the front piece doesn't have a dart, as you can see. Then we can just cut out everything like this. You can go ahead and add darts if you want that tight fit. And I'll just go to the armhole and get the midpoint of the armhole depth so that I can go in by 0.5 inch to curve the front armhole. Okay. So here are our two front pieces, and we are now just going to use facing to finish up the edges, these raw edges. So I'll place this material on top of my front piece like this. Then you can pin it so that you cut it with the shape of this curve. Then I'll just have to turn it to this side so that the curve can guide me in the cutting of my facing. So this curve will help me up to the bottom. Okay. So at this moment, as you can see, the facing is almost ready, and you measure 3 inches from the bottom to the curve part up to the upper part, and then you can just join those lines. You can then cut out this facing and trace it onto another fabric to have 2 facings. Then with the remaining of this fabric, we're going to cut out the back facing, of which I'm going to measure 3 inches also. So this is our back facing, and it will be put here, right sides facing each other. Then I'll go to the belt, which is measuring 45 inches long and 5 inches wide, so that when folded you use 0.5 as your sewing allowance. From here I'm going to measure 2 inches like this, and I'll just join this like this just to give it a nice shape. Then you will sew and turn this inside out. So after turning it inside out, place it onto the right side of the fabric, and also place the facing right side facing each other. Then sew like this. After sewing that, you get something like this. Then from this side, you can make a top stitch at the curve. Then for the raw edge of the facing, you can fold it once just for a neater finish like this. Then you can now fold in the hemming allowance like this, and just sew there, and you will get a neat finish like this one. As you can see, both of these pieces have been finished. I have finished working on them, and I folded in the raw edge, and I also top stitched the facing so that it lays flat. So for the back piece, this is the facing, of which the raw edge was folded in and stitched there for a neater look, and I top stitched it to also lay flat. So right sides facing each other now. So right sides facing each other like this, and we join the shoulder by 0.5 inch. The joining has been done. We can now come to the sleeve. So my sleeve is going to be measuring at 24 inches. Then 1 inch for the hemming. Then my cap height is 5 inches, of which I'm going to draw a horizontal line there, measuring 8 inches. Then draw a diagonal line to, like this. Get the midpoint of this line. Then from here, come out by 2 inches. Then you can just make an S shape here, which should pass through the center point like this. Then you can measure the curve of your sleeve. Make sure it's aligning with the armhole of the actual basic bodice. So I'll go out by 1 inch, then I'll draw a straight line downwards. Okay, so this sleeve is going to be sort of loose fitted. That's why I'm not taking the elbow, it's just going to be straight because I'll put an elastic at the bottom. So measure your wrist like this using the elastic. Then I'll cut two elastic bands for my 2 sleeves. We want the wrist part to be sort of tight on the wrist with the elastic. So here is how the sleeve looks like. Then here I'll just stitch the part that has been hemmed and measure 2.25 inches for my belt to be able to pass at the left side of my bodice, and I will leave that gap, stitch it up to here, and we are done.